Hey there, I am joining you today from beautiful Santa Cruz, and we're on a month-long sailing trip. And while I've been gone, I've been getting so many text messages and instant messages, people asking me about how do we plan? How do we know what we're supposed to be doing throughout the school year? And I'm gonna tell you exactly what I use and how to stay on track, and I'm gonna give you my secret to not falling behind right after this. All right, well, as you can see, we travel a lot, and anything that we use or any program that we use has to be something that's easy to bring with us. I don't want to bring planners or paper books or anything that I have to keep track of. So I actually use Google Calendars. I use it because I can keep track of it on my phone, and I can make an individual calendar for each one of my children. Each one has a different color that's assigned to them, which works out because in our family, everyone has a family color that everything is labeled in that color. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll make a video specifically about family colors and what that means. But in Google Calendars, I can assign everybody their own calendar, everybody is their own color, and I can also set up notifications that come to me to let me know what is going on day by day and if anything is due, supposed to be turned in, or supposed to be completed. And I can set it up so it sends an email to my kids. Now, my younger kids don't have email, but my older girls do. And so that way they get an email notification that lets them know that, hey, you're supposed to be at this point today, or you're supposed to be done with this lesson today, or hey, don't forget, you're supposed to be turning this into mom today. So I find Google Calendars to be great. So I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna hop on my computer, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I do with setting up a calendar and how I parse it out for each person and plan it out for each subject. Here we go. So I've headed over to Google and my Google account online. If you don't have a Google account, they're free. You don't even have to get a Gmail email address in order to get one. You can use an existing email if you'd like to. But in order to use Google Calendar, you do have to have a Google account. And you have access also to all of these business suite items that they have, all these different things that they offer. So Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, so on and so forth. And so we're going to head over here and click on Google Calendar. And that brings us up to the screen that you see before you. And I am going to show you how I create how I create a calendar for each one of my kiddos. So to do so, we're going to head right over here to this plus button, and we're going to create a new calendar. And let's call this one Ella. That'll be for my oldest daughter. And I don't need a description, so I'm just going to create calendar. And then I'll head back from my settings. And from here, now she's right here. And what I would do is create one for each kiddo in the exact same way. And I would change each color. So let's go here, and her color is red. So there we go. We'll change her to red. And then we're going to go to settings and sharing. And I'm going to scroll down in here. I already have an email address plugged in that I want shared with, and I'll click on daily agenda and click email. And then that way it lets me know a daily email of things that are going on with the calendar, and it just gives me an update. So sometimes it'll send me an email and it just says you have no events today, which is great. But if I do, then I'm also notified of those as well. So let's go here. Let's say what I do is I sit down with each one of my kiddos and I have them bring all of their schoolwork that they have, all of their books. So their history, their science, their math, etc., etc. And we sit down and we do one unit or one topic at a time. I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm talking about. So for example, math. Let's say she was starting her math book here on the 31st. And so I would say, okay, you're starting with lesson one here on Monday, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and then lesson 5 will be completed on Friday. Well, I don't need to be notified of everything that she's doing on each day. I just need to know where she should be on Friday. I just want to do a check-in on Friday. So I'm going to click on Friday and I'm going to put math lesson 5. I think that's what I said, math lesson 5. And so I don't need to do anything else other than just say, oh, I need to change the calendar to Ella. There we go. And I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to be marked as busy that day. I can add a notification. So when, like, if the child has a test or a project or something that's due and I want to have an extra reminder, or I want to say, hey, remember this is due in tomorrow, or this is due, in a week, or this is due in 2 days, you can set that here in the reminder button. So for her math lesson, not a big deal. But if there's a project coming up or maybe a big paper that's due that I want to follow up with her on, I will put that reminder in here, and she might know, most likely, she knows that that paper is coming up or that lesson is due. But I forget. I get busy with life and the other kids. So I need that reminder, and it's a great way for me to say, hey, I'm aware of what's going on with you. I know what's happening, and I just want to stay involved. And it reminds me to follow up with her. So math, I'm not going to utilize that, but like I said, projects I will. So we'll hit save. Now, let's say you hit save and went, oh, shoot, I wanted to do something else, or I put it for the wrong person, or whatever. You'd click on the event. You'd click on this little pencil right here, and that allows you to edit the event and anything else that, you would like to do. So this event doesn't repeat, takes all day. If I need to change the calendar it belongs to, that's right here. Want to add a description, so on and so forth. That allows me to do that. And then I'll just click save. Perfect. And then I would continue in that same manner. So I go, okay, math lesson 5 is here. So the next week it'll be math lesson 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll click on that. Math lesson, can't write, 10. There we go. Change the owner to her and click save. Perfect. And I would do that exact same thing all the way down. And then I would do the next curriculum or subject that she has. And I would say, okay, now let's do language arts. Where do you need to be on language arts? Now, her language arts program doesn't have specific units. She does the Good and the Beautiful high school, which I highly suggest. And if you haven't seen the video for it yet, I'd watch it. I love it. It's fantastic. Okay, so that one, though, is like booklets. They're more like a unit, like a whole unit she has to complete. And so depending on how much time your child spends during the day working on each unit, it tells you expect them to take this long, or X amount of time. So for her, it takes about 2 weeks, give or take. So I think we schedule out 12 days. So for her, I would go 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, which would be today. And I would say unit 1 language arts due. And that would give her, she would know, okay, I have to be done with this by that day. And that lets her know when that's due. And again, if you want to set a reminder for it, you can click on that little pencil button, and it allows you to set a notification if you want to say, hey, in, 2 days, you're going to have this due, or in 3 days, you're going to have this due. How are you doing on it? Or maybe a halfway mark, you set it for 7 days, whatever. And you can set just a reminder to follow up and see how they're doing. And then for her, she would take a test. Every time they finish a unit, the next day is the test. And so I would put her test in here, and I would say, language arts, unit 1, test. And then that way I know that that's what's happening that day, and so on and so forth. So that's how I set it up. And I do that with each of my kiddos, so that way I receive emails. I pretty much receive an email every day. And that's it. I just do each subject with each of my kiddos. And each day, like I said, I receive an email. And the email sometimes will say you have no events scheduled today, and then sometimes it'll say, multiple things that have going on, or follow up, this is due in 2 weeks, and it sends things right to my email box. Now, you can, if you're really great about checking your calendar, you don't have to get emails. You don't have to obviously get the notifications. You can just take a look at it. I need those reminders. I always check my email every day, so I know that I will get those reminders to my email box. I will not neglect knowing about those things, and I don't have to think about, oh, this is due in 2 weeks. Is this important? Do I need to think about it? Because it doesn't look so confusing right now with 4 things on the screen. But once you have multiple children up there and you've got lots of colors and it's very exciting, it looks a lot different. And so, well, I'll show you just a second. Okay, so as you can see, it starts to fill up pretty quick and gets pretty confusing once you have things start to be plugged in on the calendar. Now you can see I have like this light purple and I have this yellow. Some of the things my kids do together. So for example, both of my younger 2 do IEW together. So I can put both of them on one thing. I don't need to put Charlemagne paper in 2 different colors, and Rome paper in 2 different colors. So I just created a calendar that just has both of them. That's a separate color. And then same for my older 2. Now, my oldest daughter is on lesson 3 right here, and then lesson 4, and the daughter just below her was 1 day off. So 2 days off. So what I did is I gave them some time. I gave my younger daughter some time to catch up, and then they needed to be back on schedule. So however she chose to make that up was up to her. I gave her enough time, whether she did it on a weekend or squeezed a little extra in during the days, but she had enough time to do it. So then I created this 2-person, putting them both on one, and they should both be caught up and then are both expected to be on lesson 5 and then lesson 6 at the same time. So it really helps you to keep track of everybody with the colors. So you can select one person. So let's say I just want to look at Ella's calendar. I can unselect everybody else and I can just look at her and say, okay, let's talk about where you are. So after I plug everything in and we get going for the year and I receive all my emails and I check in with them, I really like to receive emails on Fridays. Is really, if I have something I don't need to see every day, for example, math, I just want to know where they are on Friday. But after I plug all this in, I do about 2 months to 3 months at a time. And at the end of that 2 months or 3 months, we sit down again and go, okay, let's reassess where we at. Things happen. You're going to have life events. You're going to have sicknesses. You're going to have field trips that come up, whatever. And you want to be able to be adaptable to your child's education. And so what I do at that point is say, okay, you didn't quite make it to lesson 25. So where are you at? And can we make that up? Is it reasonable to do maybe 2 lessons for the next week or 2 weeks, or maybe do, 2 lessons a day for 3 days a week to help get caught up? And that way she can get back on track, or, how far behind are they? It gives you a chance to reassess how they're doing throughout the year, as opposed to just setting the whole year. And then if it doesn't work out, now you have to change the whole year of, what's upcoming. It's just very confusing. So a couple months at a time allows you to be adaptable, allows you to check in, assess how the curriculum's doing, assess how they're doing with it, how are they learning, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I think that's everything to show you here. If I missed anything or I left you with any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Leave it in those comments or reach out to me in an email, and I will follow up with you. And let's head back out on deck. All right, so there you go, step by step. I hope that helps you to get your year set up. And if I missed anything or if I left you with any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll make sure I answer them for you. Now, I promised I would tell you what my secret is to making sure we don't fall behind, and here it is. We only plan 2 to 3 months out in advance because 100% of the time we will fall behind, and so will you, and that's okay. Things happen. Your kids are gonna get sick, family emergencies happen, unexpected weather, whatever, and that's okay. I promise you, it all works out. So here's what I do. I schedule 2 to 3 months at a time and then try and make up ground where I can. I'm certainly not gonna just throw up my hands and be like, well, we're behind, sucks for us. But I do try and make that time up. But if I don't, then when I reassess in 2 to 3 months, I take into account, okay, where are we now? And then plan 2 to 3 months from there. Take it one step at a time. Don't stress yourself out. I guarantee whatever you are doing at home with your child is more than they would get if they were in a public school, surrounded in a classroom full of students. And more than anything, they are being showered with love, and that's what they need. All right, keep up the good work, and I'll see you next time.